You are listening to the Agree to Disagree program on thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you very much for joining us on this Friday. My name is Brian Engelman. I am your host on thenewamericanmedia.com's Agree to Disagree program. Thank you very much for taking the time to join this conversation. You were just listening to Tatiana Moroz, Tatiana-Moroz. Take a look for her. That was her Ron Paul Revolution song. A bit of a little campaign ditty, kind of a 60s vibe. Little flower powers, peace and love. Now, she's got a whole bunch of songs, and we want to mention to everybody that just like Tatiana did, if you have original music, if it's 100% original content, we can play it on our programs. We can put it on our YouTube feed. We can play it live. Have it playing in the background for commercials, for content, whatever the case may be. So if you do have something, go to thenewamericanmedia.com and click that little contact button at the bottom of the page. Or, there's so many ways you guys can find us. If you're listening to us on YouTube, please click subscribe. And if you're listening to this, leave a comment. Say, hey, I'm in a band, or my brother's in a band, or my cousin, she's a songwriter, and she might want to have her music played. Contact us. Do it on Twitter at American_media_. We have about 12,000 people following us there. Everything's moving in the right direction here at the New American Media, and we want to thank you for that. There's no point in doing this show if nobody's listening, and we know that you are. So I just want to thank you profusely for that. But definitely, if you have original music, contact us on Facebook. Search for The New American Media. Go to thenewamericanmedia.com, American_media_ on Twitter, etc., etc. And if you're listening live, you can send us a direct message on Twitter. We read these in real time. And this is supposed to be an interactive program, so you say something and we get going on it. And we contribute it and add it to a part of the program. So the direct messages on Twitter at American_media_ are a fantastic way to get things going. So without further ado, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in Blake Wally. I've been a regular co-host on his Monday programs. He does Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday broadcasts on Blog Talk Radio. You can find him at freedomizer.com. No, freedomizerradio.com. freedomizerradio.com. And Blake does a show called The Eccentric Perspective. We're going to bring Blake into the Agree to Disagree program right now.
Brian, what's going on, man?
Oh, Blake Wally, I'm living the dream as usual. You are live on the air on the NewAmericanMedia.com's Agree to Disagree program. Blake, I vaguely introduced that I have been co-hosting with you on Mondays over at freedomizerradio.com. That's Blog Talk Radio. You can find The Eccentric Perspective. Your name is Blake Wally. But introduce yourself on a different level, like just kind of who you are, why you care about talking about the news of the day, and any other shameless plug you want to offer, including your brand new Twitter account.
Right. I'm just a guy who decided to get frustrated with the system, get frustrated with the direction and the future of everything that's going on in the country and the world, and I decided to start being a little more active, start telling, I guess you could say, started getting on Facebook and started sharing articles, trying to inform my friends, and then I ended up starting a blog called The Eccentric Perspective. And after about a year of that, I decided to even further get onto the radio. So I've been doing that for about, 6 or 7 months now. So, yeah, just trying to expand and get out there and try to get the word out. So I guess that would be my story.
Very nice.
Sum it up.
All right. Tell us about the network you have over there, Freedomizer Radio. How does that thing work? Because I'm still learning about it. I've enjoyed connecting with your audience over there. I certainly appreciate the time on Mondays. When do we do that? We do that from noon until 1:30 on Mondays at freedomizerradio.com, correct?
Pacific time, yes, 3 to 4:30 Eastern. So I guess with Blog Talk, I think anybody can literally just start their own radio show. But I think you only get like just with a phone or whatever. But you only get like a free half hour or something. So what they do is they have like networks that people can set up. And so we've got one set up here by a guy who goes by the name Proof Negative, who started one of the bigger blog talk networks, where we do run programming about, I'm going to say, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's a different type of service where it costs a few $100 a month to get to have our own network, and so that's exactly what we have. So so it's just a grassroots activist network. It's pretty cool. You got a wide variety of different personalities, but we're all pretty much in the alternative media. I guess we could call it that.
Well, I will tell the listeners out there that we first encountered Blake when we found his voting fraud video on YouTube one night, where he found what's purported to be a Romney supporter, surrogate, useful idiot, really, just somebody in a Ron Paul T-shirt that was handing out fake delegate sheets, because the whole concept of the voting is more than just the popular vote. It's about the delegate strategy. So it's kind of interesting over there. But anyway, we found his video there, and we've been connected ever since. So, I think it's time to do a little bit more work than we have been doing yesterday, and it's time to tighten up the network. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And I guess there's a lot of different issues that you've been following this past week, and I know we talked about a few of them, including Rand Paul and drones. I don't know where you wanted to start off and where we wanted to take this conversation, but we're ready.
Yeah, there's been a few developments with that. I know there was a big sighting. They had a big flatbed truck in D.C. area, and people were freaking out. It looks like a UFO, and it is a very menacing-looking drone. I know I've seen saw that drone that got found in Iran or whatever. They just look like a little plane, nothing like a toy or something. But this thing actually looked like the one they found, and that was on this flatbed truck. I mean, it looked like something out of that movie Independence Day, the Will Smith movie. It does look like a UFO, and so I don't know if it was meant to acclimate the public or what, but there was kind of a panic about that, and people were just taking pictures, and certainly interesting. And then, of course, you've got Hugo Chavez saying that they're working on building drones with Iran. And I'm trying to remember what other drone news there was this week. I know there was another minor story, but it's just getting weirder. And there's that controversy, like what, and how come we can get along, and just about like arming them and all these, like we call ours like predator drones, or they're arming them, and they're talking about putting bioweapons on them, or who knows where they're going to go with this, and as all the countries are just going to decide to start fighting drone wars instead of regular wars with real people. I don't know where this is heading, but it's pretty creepy stuff.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say it's reaching a point. A lot of people have talked about all of the mechanisms being put into place. I mean, you have two presidential candidates that have both basically said, yeah, we support the NDAA. The president signed it on New Year's Eve when he thought nobody was watching. Of course we were. This isn't 1940. You can't pull these kind of tricks on us. We were watching. We didn't like it. And when I forget that woman's name, but at the I think it was a Fox News debate earlier in the year, they asked if Governor Romney would support signing the NDAA, the one that calls for indefinite detention of United States citizens on merely an accusation for an indefinite period of time. Mitt Romney said yes, he would, and he was booed. He was booed by the audience.
He didn't even flinch on that. Yeah, he didn't even flinch. He was like, yep, yeah, of course I would.
He almost seemed happy. He almost seemed happy to say it. Like, damn straight. Almost like when LeBron was giddy, like, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. Like, he knew he was doing something wrong, but he psyched himself up to think he was doing something good. And I don't know, it just kind of reminded me of the same thing where he was excited. Mitt Romney was excited to say, well, yes, I would sign the NDAA. Like, that's the wrong answer.
Yeah, it doesn't affect him. Why should he care?
Okay, well, that's actually a pretty sad and accurate point there. Well, I'll tell you what, let me do this right now because we have talked about this. Bringing in Marc Claire with Lions of Liberty. We're going to give it a shot on the Skype line to do a conference call here. Like we said, unite the networks, tighten up the strings, and form some fabric at this point.
Right.
Indeed. Here we go.
Braveheart reference. Braveheart.
Braveheart. Scotland. We've been through this. Let's see if this works. Sounds like a submarine.
Hey.
Yeah, it does.
All right, Mark, you are in and you are very hot. Could you pull back from the mic just a little bit? Hey, you're live.
I am very hot, thank you.
Okay.
How's that better?
That's better. If you could go just a little bit more, then we'll be golden. I love live radio.
Okay, let me try this. How we doing now?
Yeah, you're still pretty hot, but
I have a
It
sec.
sounds fine on my end. I don't
You guys
know.
just chat. Give me a second.
okay, perfect. Yeah, you get that all sorted out here. But you know what? I love the live radio concept because, you know, sometimes you have flashy production values and sometimes you have the best available technology that you have. You know, an entire revolution in Egypt.
That's one way to
over
do it.
Twitter. Twitter and Facebook. All right, how you doing, Mark? You all set up?
Without having a good reason to do so. They tried to pretend that
Yeah. What is this I'm hearing? Is this you?
I don't know. I hear television in the background.
Okay.
What about
That's
you,
what
Blake?
I hear too.
All right, I got it all figured out. Here we are. How we doing?
Oh, you probably had one of those autoplays going on your MacBook or something.
Yeah, I think that was Lord Moncton in the background on the Alex Jones show earlier.
I like Lord Moncton's eyes. His eyes are awesome. Okay, yes, now I'm getting a wicked feedback. Every time I say something, it's about a second later. So I don't know if you have a little earpiece you could use to keep that from coming back at us. But you know what? We'll get it
An
figured out.
earpiece. I'm on an earpiece right now. That's what it is.
Okay, perfect.
I actually broke a microphone off of the earpiece just now. That was my solution to this problem. So I don't know if I sound better or what, but
Broke a microphone off. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's get into it. Let's say this is what we're going to have for today's show, and we'll roll with it. Marc Clair is one of the... I don't know how you say this. Are you the founder, one of the co-founders of lionsofliberty.com? I will open it up to you to introduce yourself, and you're a writer over there, and just go for it.
that would be accurate. Yeah, I'm a co-founder. There's actually 4 of us that started the site last year. We're kind of just a group of friends. We know each other from college, and we were kind of just going back and forth for a few years on this email chain where we just kind of got into things, so to speak. When started discussing things about liberty topics. We all got very involved with the Ron Paul campaign, and it was kind of just our back and forth over the years. And then at some point we decided, hey, why don't we just toss this on the internet and see how that works out. So we did that. We had a blog spot going for a little while, and then a friend of ours, Tommy John Gayo at TommyJohnStudios.com, we highly recommend his work. He went ahead and just said, all right, I'm going to make you guys a real spiffy-looking website. So right now you can find us over at lionsofliberty.com, and you can see the excellent work of Tommy John, TommyJohnStudios.com.
Excellent.
And that's what we're doing. We're just trying to do the same thing you guys are doing, you and Blake are doing, and keep the conversation honest and real and not corporate owned and corporate run, and not really try to escape from that left-right paradigm that's keeping us all from actually thinking about how bad we're getting screwed.
You know, that's a good point. I think what you've said on our show before, Mark, is that you do radio because you kind of take it personal when people are stealing from you.
A little bit.
And it's pretty straightforward. So
when they steal from me, when they reach in my pants and grab my junk, yeah, it starts to get personal at some point.
I don't mean to laugh because I wouldn't want that to happen. But, I mean, it's sad that your experience going through an airport means that your testicles were smashed and your penis was touched by a TSA agent. We'll get into that in just a second. What we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick commercial break to do some station identification here at the TNAM radio network.
You are listening to the Agree to Disagree program on thenewamericanmedia.com.